What are sellers smoking on PCAR Market? Bring a trailer, cars and bids. Heck, what are the auction platforms smoking? There's something, there's some good something going around that I think we all need a little bit. I want some in the studio. I want to look. This is Bid Nerds. The bidding starts now. Bid Nerds is your YouTube card game show. Yes, it is. Welcome, everybody, to a live Bid Nerds. My name is John Polnick. We're coming to you live from the Container Park in downtown Las Vegas, as well as my partner, Michael Deeb, all the way on the far side of the screen. And right there in the middle, there he is, Matthew Whitesell from Portland, Oregon. 914 Rubber. What is the haps, fellas? Welcome, Matthew.
Thank you, brothers. Barely made it in. Just got out of a hot, sweaty 55-year-old car, ripping around, having some fun, and happy to make it on time.
All right.
Of course, I'm the reason why we're late.
Yeah, just on time. There you go.
Hey, finally we have an excuse for it being someone else's reason why we're late. I'm wearing my Aviera watch, so I knew what time it was. I knew we had to get going. But Michael Deeb, you ready to roll?
Let's do this, JP. We have so many cars to cover. We don't have nearly enough time for small talk. Let's jump right into it.
Let's get to it. All right, if you're new to the channel, what we do is we analyze listings from Bring a Trailer, Cars and Bids, and PCAR Market, sometimes some other auction sites as well. We get into the meta, into the minutia of these auction listings, and then we get to the fun part. We make predictions. We always start off every episode by reconciling our predictions from the last episode. That's right, we hold ourselves accountable. This is a good time. This is where the rubber hits the road, and if you are watching live, which you should be watching the show live, it's much more fun that way. Get into the chat and introduce yourself to the nerd herd. That's the folks, the guys that are here regularly, hanging out, drinking, watching the show. Let's get to it. What was the first car on the list? Michael Deeb.
JP, we are going to kick this off with a cannon shot. Feast your eyes on this unbelievable 1984 Porsche 930 Kremer DP. JP, this car was called the Kremer Street 2, but don't let that fool you. This street car makes 700 horsepower back in 1984, thanks to the wizards at Kremer and DP. They, boy, conspired to make one of the most bodacious and outrageous and unbelievable cars of the 1980s, and this thing still looks wild today. JP, that looks like an absolute race car. Like, how on earth is that street legal anywhere outside of Idaho, where apparently in Idaho you could slap a license plate on a shopping cart? They don't care. God bless Idaho. JP, this car is just so sick, but we have to wonder aloud, why would you take a car this special and trust it to the folks at PCAR Market? They, sometimes they crush it and they get all the money for special cars. Most of the time, cars like this wind up in what they now call marketplace. They're post-auction classifieds ads with where you can negotiate in real time, which is really what the platform is devolving to. And we don't want that. We want them to come and kick BAT in the nutsack, But here's a really great car. Here's a really great opportunity. But the odds are stacked against them. JP, our friends at Classic.com tell us that a 1984 930 all by itself is a $126,000 car. But when you get the folks involved from what do we call them? DP and the folks at Kremer, both who raced Porsches in period during this time frame, this was like a way for them to earn money to go pour into their racing program, selling cars like this. We wondered what the premium would be. JP, I wondered aloud that a car like this might be a $400,000 or $500,000 price tag, but my bid against the platform would be simply $184,930. John, you took the under by $4,000, $180,930. And then our buddy Mike Spinelli, our new best friend, Mr. Jalopnik and the Hooniverse and all these incredible media platforms that he is responsible for content. He joined us as a very excellent third nerd all the way from the East Coast. His bid above both of us, JP, at $237,000. Matt Whitesell, welcome to the show. We're going to kick you off the cliff and into the deep end with a DP Kremer 700 horsepower street car from way back in the 1980s. Check out those Recaro seats. And then when your eyes come up and you blot all the drool off your chin, give us a number for this fantasy car. What do you think, buddy?
Did you go over 200K? That's where I think it should be.
Well, but give us a real number, not an estimate range.
I'm going to go 215.
215. So he's under Spinelli, but not nearly close enough. So, all right, he's actually really close to where the car hammered. Our car hammered for $228,000 where it failed to sell. Matt, I'm going to put you right back on the spot and ask you, now that we know this car is in the deal tank, what do you think this car is in the deal tank for? My guess was 400 grand. I can't remember what JP might have said while we were just sputtering about what we think this car is ultimately worth or what they might actually be asking for it. Care to venture a number from the deal tank, Matt? Because this is arguably more interesting than the $228,000 FTS.
If I owned that car, I wouldn't want to let it go for less than 300. I just
300
think that where the market's at right now.
Yeah, 300. We would sell you half the car. It's in the deal tank for $700,000. Now, I know you can ask anything you want for a car, but somebody brought 3 cars like this to Mecum Auction back in like 2018 or 2019 at Monterey Car Week. And at least I think it's Mecum. Is it Mecum? It's not Barrett Jackson, right? It's Mecum at Car Week. I think that's right. All those cars FTS at like 200 grand, but they were all available for like $400,000 and $500,000 and $600,000. So $700,000 today doesn't sound totally crazy. And again, I don't think they made that many of them full stop. So if it's in excellent condition and has, reasonable provenance, why not ask $700,000? Even if you're trying to get $550,000 or $600,000. Wow, JP, when you saw $700,000, was that arguably more shocking than the FTS at 228 grand?
For sure. I mean, I know that, the Kremer, the ice machine that we covered on Dear Fascination on Cars Unknown, that car sold a few years back before everything was crazy for $250,000. So I could see it doubling from there, but not tripling. Yeah. They're just not worth quite that much. They are really, really cool. A lot of comments, a lot of people have actually put eyeballs on this car and have seen it over the years, have commented how rough it is in real life. I think the car presents very well. But I think a lot of cars like this from the era do surprise people how rough they are. These Kremer body kits, I mean, having owned one, they can be a little bit tough to keep them sorted. That said, the seller is definitely smoking something. So is the platform for allowing this car. And, it doesn't end there. The crazy people on crack, that's just the beginning, you guys. There was a bidder, WDG Turbo, one of the users, on the last day as the bidding was getting close to the end. This guy started bidding a few hours before the end. His first bid was $134,500. He bid up his high bid. Let's see here. His high bid, I believe, was I thought I had it written down, but I want to say it was like 100. Where did this car end? This is really kind of a punchline. I kind of screwed this up, but. Stand by, guys. You guys are not going to believe what this guy did. Let's see. If you're looking at the user was WDG, and Turbo. I'm scrolling down. Yeah, WG Turbo. He bid himself from $134,500 all the way up to $200, uninterrupted, with no counter bids. He bid 20 times.
Bid himself up.
He just kept bidding. Kept going. He's like, I'm bidding. Oh, this WDG Turbo guy sucks. I'm going to bid against him. And he bid again. And then he did it again. And then he did it again. 21 times in total, up to $200,000. There's no one bidding against him, bro. What are you doing?
I'm channeling a screenwrite of the what's his name? Me, Myself, and Irene, the sequel, right?
Right. I'm sorry it took me so long to get that out, but I really wanted to share that with you guys because I feel
That's
like
so funny.
Maybe this car had a chance to do better, but you got to sit there and you're watching an auction come to the end. You're looking at a car that someone wants $700,000 for. You don't know what they want for it, but maybe you think the car's worth $300,000 or $400,000, and you're considering bidding, and you see one guy doing something crazy, and you're going, is there something wrong with the platform? Can someone be this stupid? Can everyone involved really be this goddamn high? Dee, what do you think happened?
So this guy
Anthony
Skywalker,
says shill billing, but shill bidding against himself? Sorry, Deep, go ahead.
this guy Skywalker 299 says maybe a bot.
I mean, what
That's
the
a funny
actual
comment.
F? PCAR Market cannot get their ish together to save their goddamn
They can't even make their
lives.
bots work right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you think someone in PCAR Market would be like, this guy just bid 3 times in a row and no one else bid against him. Maybe we should hop in here. No, just let him go. You know, the guys in Oyster Bay just have no class. PCAR Market just continues to amaze at how much they absolutely suck. And everyone, from the bidders on the platform to the sellers,
This is while the bidding's going on. One of the comments by Jazzy72 says, "Can anybody please explain to me what's going on right now? I'm so confused. I've never seen anything like this." Wow. Then PCAR Market comes on and says, "We are calling the bidder now. We have seen situations where bidder outbids himself, then doesn't realize it." I'm like, no, you haven't. What is this?
How many times?
maybe once, but 20 times?
Yeah.
20 times, you guys. How do you keep bidding? I mean, this guy had to have been like, just maybe he took a bunch of edibles. It was like, I don't know. All right, what do you guys think happened with WDG Turbo bidding up against himself over 20 times? Let us know in the comments. And what do you think of a $700,000 reserve? I mean, what in the hell? Does PCAR Market have to go? I think PCAR Market has to go. This is just too stupid. All right, let's move on. We got a bunch of cars to cover, and we've got to get some predictions, too. So what else did we talk about in the last
start
episode?
a GoFundMe so the bid nerds can just take over PCAR Market.
Right,
The way it should be.
bidnerdsmarket.com. Now
It'd
we're
be
talking.
so much fun.
Oh,
and then
my God.
Don't worry, we'll keep doing the show. It'll just be like a war room. You'll love it. It'll be great. We'll be in real time. All right, JP. We also covered a car that we're going to check back in on is the 2019 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1 Coupe. This particular car is packaged with the 3ZR and ZTK with a 7-speed manual transmission. Our car is listed out of Neptune, New Jersey, by Michael at Michael Motor Car, showing 23,000 miles on this car. JP, I'm not saying that's a lot of miles. The car looks to be in fabulous condition, but it does have some miles on it. And while our friends at classic.com tell us that the average selling price for a ZR1 in the secondary market is arguably $208,000, I did seem to think that this particularly rare and expensive vet seemed to have quite a few miles on it to consider it breaking the $200,000 mark. With that little nugget in mind and not knowing much else about the values on these cars, my bid was $198,000. Again, right up to $200,000, but not crossing the plane. JP, you took the over. To my surprise, $201,000 was your bid. You're going to eat crow for that one. And Mike Spinelli, our buddy, our friend, Mike, what's up? Thanks for coming on the show. His bid above JP's $209,000. Matt, I've already given you the Easter egg. This car's got some miles on it. What's your bid on the ZR1 in triple black with a manual from 2019? You know, they built a whole new Corvette that doesn't look anything like this. So these are old.
The old Batmobile.
Yeah.
So the old Batmobile, 175.
175, and you would have won with that bid because our car hammered for $169,000. JP, that didn't surprise me. What did is the words that come out of my mouth next. It's sold. 169 grand. It's worse than I thought, which was interesting because it's kind of why I wanted to cover this car. And here's where it gets stupid interesting, JP. Only 7 bids. Where is the Corvette love on Bring a Trailer? Is it only C3s right now, which are so hot, and a couple of C2s out there still? That is wild to me. This car in an attractive colorway with JP, again, the counter argument is it's got a few miles on it, so it won't be $210,000. I could probably pick it up for $175, like Mr. Weitzel said, sitting there in the corner with the blue background. But only 7 bids tells me nobody actually gave a rat's ass about this car or the seller, which I think is kind of weird. Like, why can't the seller get more than 7 bids for this thing? So is 169 the true value? or is there something going on that we missed and Lucas missed too? What's happening, JP? Read me the tea leaves.
Yeah, I mean, we see this seller pretty often. It seems like they have a pretty darn good handle on the market in general. This car, these guys are not smoking crack. The sellers, this dealership has reasonable expectations, and that's how they get cars sold. $170 or $170,000 for this car, considering the miles and considering this was a $145,000 car, brand new. This car, somebody got to drive it and almost keep up with inflation. That's not too bad when you consider imagine if you had bought a brand new 2019 Ferrari anything, or Lamborghini anything, or any exotic from circa 2019, you're probably, underwater by at least 50% or more, whereas this car is pretty much what it was worth back then. I think that's a testament to this is certainly not a run-of-the-mill car, but Corvettes are not rare. This is a rare version of a Corvette. I think this bodes well. What do you think of the result, Matt?
I think I blame this on the lot kids. When you get that trade in and they go strip it for all the good accessories, if they would have thrown in the sweet, sweet lawn chairs, it could have brought the money, but they took it.
Some plastic trophies. Definitely could have got another 200.
Wow.
Good take.
Matt went there. Wow. With the boomer jokes. Matt, you know who our audience is, right?
White socks? Yeah.
My age.
My white socks. Yeah, everybody that watches the show is over 55. All right, let's move on. What do you guys think of the results of that ZR1? Are they coming up? Was that a good buy? Let us know. And what's the next car on the list?
All right, JP. Our friends over at Cars and Bids were showing a 1989 Toyota MR2 Supercharged with under 50,000 miles running, no reserve. Removable T-tops and mostly unmodified. The car is in excellent condition. JP, upon my lightning quick glance at this car, I thought that thing sticking up between the knees of the two front passengers was a manual transmission. Turns out I was wrong. It's an automatic 4-speed, so I really choked on this one while we were reviewing it. Thanks to the Nerd Herd for catching me and my ancient boomer eyes. John, according to our friends at Classic.com, these things still sell for $21,000 in the secondary market. My bid was representative of a manual option that didn't exist. I went to $25,000. JP, you took the under at $19,000. And Mike Spinelli, our new best friend in the whole wide world, he took $20,000 for his guess on the car. Matt Weitzel, what do you think about an MR2 Supercharged but straddled with an auto tragic, as JP likes to call them?
This was my favorite car. This is the first full article I ever read in a magazine as a kid. It was about this car, and I wanted this car so badly, but not in an automatic. I'm going to guess that it went for 17.
17, you would have lost this one. Finally, you get choked out by one. Spinelli nearly got a Yahtzee. Our car hammered for $21,000. No shock that it sold, as it was running no reserve, but you never know these days. JP, 36 bids. That's a lot of money for an automatic. Do you think it was well bought, or do you think it was well sold?
Well, it's interesting. I saw the bid. I saw that number. I was like, did the bidders, were they smoking? Did they do the same thing that my partner Dave did and just not notice that it didn't have 3 pedals? And then I got in the comments and look at that, he's having a stroke. Yeah. A lot of folks there was a lot of old guys that were like, hey, I got a bad hip. And there were young people in the comments and the bidders. This thing got a lot of bids, right? There were people bidding on this car. It gave me a little hope, because there were young people in there that were like, hey, I'll admit I never learned to drive a stick, but I want a classic car. And there aren't that many options for people. If you want a car of this era that's a sports car, they just didn't make very many automatics in these. So to find one that's clean, I guess it's kind of like marijuana is a gateway drug. I guess this is a gateway to driving real sports cars. I don't know. What do you think of the result, Matt?
I didn't notice the miles were 40,000, so that's my excuse. But I love these cars, automatic or not. I would drive the hell out of that thing. A mid-engine, that's my jam.
And with the supercharger, it's actually got some poop too. So that would make up for the lag that you would normally have with the automatic.
JP, with the supercharger, they made like 200 horsepower, right?
Yeah, something like that. And I mean, supercharged power is low-end power, which is what you need on cars like these, because particularly the MR2s, they're just teeny little engines. You got to wind the hell out of them. There's 16 valves, was it 1.8 or 1.6 or something? So you got to just drive it within the nth of its life, right? I mean, the very last 110 RPMs is where all the power is. So, to have a supercharger on there actually makes it feel like it's got some poop in there when you're taking off, especially if you're fighting against that automatic. Anyways, what do you guys think of the MR2? Low miles, but an automatic? Let us know. Well, yeah, go ahead.
JP, what's the size of the supercharger on this? Is it like a baby's bottle? Is it just like this little tiny thing? Does it look like a remote reservoir for a shock absorber? Like, what is it?
I mean, I'm surprised none of us commented on the sweet flames that it had on the hood. I mean, come on, guys. That's got to add 50 horsepower right there. All right, what's the next car that we made a prediction on before we get to new predictions?
Oh, new best friend Mike Spinelli's favorite car in the whole wide world is this 1983 Ferrari, as my partner likes to call it, a Mondial, but it's the Mondial Quattrovalvole, and it's a coupe. This particular car was listed by our good friends at More Imports down in Monterey, California. This car is also showing 61,000 miles. This car has a limited slip differential and a brand new timing belt that was replaced in 2025. A really important nugget that we didn't even bother to cover as we wound down the last show. JP, the cool thing about this car is it comes with two sets of 16-inch wheels, both of which are ugly. But it's a really fun car. It's a car that Fiat made Ferrari make. The idea, JP, is that they had a 2+2, arguably to compete with the likes of the Porsche 911. So this was Ferrari, or I should say Fiat's answer to the 911. If you squint really close, you still can't see it. Anyways, JP, we found out from our friends at classic.com that the average selling price for a Mondial with the Quattrovalvole, the 4-valve head on the car, typically bring $38,000 in the secondary market. JP, I thought this car would do really well. I thought the colorway and the cleanliness of the vehicle would carry it. Thus, my bid was $48,000. You took the over at $50,000, and Mike Spinelli, who really liked the car, bid under me at $46,500. So what do you think, Weitzel? We know you're a hardcore German guy, but any love for a high-revving, unreliable, overpriced, and hard-to-insure Italian car just for poops and giggles?
I think it's pretty with the unique color, and I love the lines of these, so I would say 45.
And you'd be wrong. Our car hammered for just $36,250, which is, I'm going to try to do the math in my head, $1,750 under the classic average. JP, shocker, it failed to sell at that number. Just 15 bids. Another, like, I don't want to say suspicious, but like crazy. Like, what's with the low bid counts? Are people saving their money so that they can, overpay in Monterey? Like, what's the deal? Why More Imports only got 15 bids? And this Michael guy, I can't stand his driving videos, but man, his photos and his showroom are clean. He gets really nice cars, and then he gets a special Corvette that's like going to be reasonably priced, and only 7 people clicked bid. That's just kind of weird to me, John. What do you think? Anything to unpack from this listing? I know there's not a big audience for Mondials, but 36 seems a bit short, and 15 bids seems a bit weak. And I don't think that the assets are poor, and it's on Bring a Trailer. Anything you can extract it. The car is a little rough when closer inspected.
Yeah, it's definitely got some bumps and bruises. I don't know. I guess I guess the buyers were just out buying more weed and they weren't watching the auction. I mean, this seems like a bargain. I don't know what what was the reserve on this car that 36 missed it. I mean, we sold, Bid Nerds, we sell cars for customers. If you're someone out there that doesn't want to deal with the auction platforms and you want professionals to do it, you can give us a call and we're happy to help you. BidNerds.biz is our website, so reach out to us there. But that said, I mean, we sold just a few months ago an amazing Ferrari Dino that had twice as many, or about how many miles, we had about as many miles as this one. I mean, and if Dinos are going for $60,000, why isn't this car getting close to that? Our good friend Chris Carbine at Carbine Motors Direct, he had a Ferrari on Cars and Bids last week. What was that? A 599?
Yeah, GTB.
GTB. And that car didn't even have 3 pedals. That was an F1 transmission with a salvage title, and it broke $100,000. $111,000. This thing just seems like it's $50,000 all day. But what do you guys think of the results? And Matt, what do you think?
I would have bought it for 36. That would have been fun.
I mean, but it didn't sell it for 30. They weren't selling it for that. Yeah.
My guess is that reserve had to begin with a 4. That's enough on that car, JP. Let's go to break because we got a lot of cars to cover. Our first one's a doozy.
It is a big one. All right, we'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Hey guys, you're probably looking at your watch and wondering if Bid Nerds will ever end. So you better talk to our friends at Our Smiths to make sure your Rolex, Tag Heuer, AP, or any fine timepiece is in tip-top shape. Our Smiths, fine Swiss repair.
All right, we are back. Fine Swiss repair from Our Smiths, and Chris Carbine down there in New Orleans watching with the crew down there. Shout out to him. And man, let's get after it. We have some really bitchin' cars. What's the first one? This first one, holy free holies. What do we got, Deep?
Yeah, JP, a car that you and I have both driven. I mean, wow, does it get any cooler than this? Our really dear friend Kelly Smith out of Boise, Idaho, out in the suburbs in one of those fancy posh neighborhoods, is selling a car out of his own personal collection. So what you're looking at is underneath the skin is a 1974 Porsche 911 S Coupe. The car had been brought to the folks at Kelly Moss, and thus began the transformation to make one of Kelly Moss's hot rods. As I understand it, listening in a circle with Kelly and JP and a few of our friends over the course of the weekend that Kelly threw the party called Air and Coffee a couple of months ago, Kelly described it as a stillborn project that was sitting in Kelly Moss's warehouse, left unfinished. And Kelly Smith had approached Kelly Moss about getting a car built. And it's one of those things where, sir, Mr. Customer, you can wait in line and we can get to you in 18 months and then you can bring us a donor car and then we can begin, describing a fantasy build for you. Or we call it in the car business a turn car. We've got this half-cooked, half-baked pizza. You can actually still decide what toppings go on it. We can cook it for you right now. And he was like, absolutely. So Kelly Smith jumped in on this car and then is largely responsible for everything that you see here. So I think he got to pick the final color. The car would have come with a 2.7. As an S, it would have been 175 horsepower. They donated a 3-liter and then built it. And that built 3-liter, JP, you and I have driven it. I mean, it's got to be putting at least 250 to the tires and possibly more. The car is so light that I don't think the car is making 300 of the tires, but it's somewhere in that range. We're talking about a carbon fiber roof. We're talking about shaved drip rails over the doors. The rear bumper looks like the stock bumper with the bumperettes removed, but that would be wrong. That's a Kevlar piece. It's got the Turbo Carrera wing. It's got plexiglass rear quarter windows. All the suspension is dialed in. And then this beautiful jade green paint job. And then, JP, I'll let you tell everybody how expensive, just how fancy it is on the inside. They redid the seats with this beautiful period correct, well, kind of an 80s. JP, would you call that pattern on the seats more of an 80s pattern than a 70s pattern? What would you give that?
For sure.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then the wheels are all monochromatic. There's no radio in the car. The 915 gearbox is just amazing. I only drove it around the block. JP took it out for a couple of minutes and perhaps has driven it once before. It's everything you think. It's got a lightweight flywheel. It revs like crazy, and like no expense spared. That being said, Kelly Smith is a wonderful person, a great collector, and a very enthusiastic and honest person. So as he is ushering his own listing, he is running this modified 74 911 S Coupe at no reserve on Bring a Trailer. Our car closes in 3 days, and he is one of the most forthcoming He's great at describing everything. He knows every single nut and bolt on the car because, again, it was just sort of like half started, and then he took it over and went crazy on it, and has driven it and enjoyed it, and perhaps, like done all the fine tuning and the final everything on it, because, you deliver a car like that and then you drive it for a little bit and things need adjusting. Well, he's done all that. It's all broken in and worked out, and it doesn't really have a lot of miles on it, but I'd say it's in better condition than when it was delivered to him because he's had the time to run it and do all that final. And anybody who's restored a car would better understand what I'm talking about. So a really fantastic opportunity. If you wanted to go to Kelly Moss today and you wanted some rare shade of green, you're in for 2 years and you're in for $250, and you got to give them a car. This car is available right now, and it's just about as fast as any, Carrera you could possibly imagine. This is, essentially way quicker. It's got 50% more horsepower than an MFI Euro Carrera, and it weighs a lot less. It's probably got 400 pounds advantage on it as well. So here you go. You couldn't ask for a better opportunity to really grab a car and a value and save yourself some time in the process. If what you see is appealing and you've been waiting to get a special car, this is the universe calling you out. It's here. It's right now. It's available. It's a reputable seller, enthusiastic person, no expense spared, and we've driven it, and it's the shit. It's awesome. So, JP, tell us a little bit more about the car. I'm sure there's a million components on it that I didn't even touch on. What did it feel like for you? Because you've driven probably more air coolers than I have. What did this car feel like to you when you got behind the wheel of it? It just revs and rips and it shifts and it's just, good.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely my favorite car to drive of the cars in his collection. And it doesn't have 300 horsepower, but it sure feels like it. Drives like one.
Yeah.
That you really feel the weight reduction in this car. Look, what really matters on this car, we all know the word Singer. We all know the brand Gunther Works. We've talked about it over and over on this show that specific engine builders and specific coach builders and specific builders, Emery, those types of characters out there, they bring the extra money for cars. And it is an absolute shame. It is an absolute failure, frankly, on Kelly Moss's part. That's the brand. That's the company that built this car. Kelly Moss is, I believe, the biggest builder of race cars and race teams, and also safari cars, and they have a huge their warehouse, Kelly Smith. I got the chance to go and visit the Kelly Moss warehouse and meet everyone involved. Great people there. Their facility is unbelievable. These guys are the experts of experts. They are every bit as good as or better and more knowledgeable and have more race experience because they provide support for race teams. They build race cars for Porsche. They're the biggest builder of race cars other than Porsche, right? So here it is. These guys have all this expertise, this huge facility, and nobody knows really that Kelly Moss builds cars like this. This car, whatever the number is that this car lands on, it won't come even close to what it would cost to build it now. This car was built back before things really went crazy. So whatever this car sells for, they're getting it for a steal. I think my friend Kelly Smith is smoking something, putting this up for no reserve. And he's also, this guy, man, he's got stones because it's going to get a lot of attention. This car is amazing. Someone's going to get an amazing car no matter what they pay for it. Matthew, what do you think of the little green 911 from Kelly Moss?
Kelly Moss's stuff is always amazing. All the cars I've seen that they built have been amazing, but you're right. They're not poser cars. They are legit. The stuff that they build is ready to rock. And in that color with that interior, this car should be a $300,000 car all day long. I think that, given where market's crazy and where everything's at, I'm going to pull back a little bit and say
we don't need a number yet. We'll give you a chance for a number. We'll let you go last. You're the guest. No, the thing is, a Singer's $1 million plus, right? Minimum. Gunther Works, same deals. All these other cars with the big names, it's $300,000. You can't even get a door from Singer. So, Deeb, what do you think this car is going to bring? How amazing is it that Kelly is putting this out there at no reserve?
Yeah, it's awesome. And then we wish him all the best with the sale of the car. JP, I just want to hone in so people understand when we talk about the things. Sometimes you look at a car and you're like, well, I can buy suspension and I can buy components. Sure, absolutely. $50,000-$60,000 motor, $20,000 in suspension, and you think away you go, and you'd have a really fine car for that. But what the money spent on this car is the hours to develop that body. What you're very forgiven for looking at that and thinking it's a Carrera, because that's what it appears to be. That's not a Carrera. That's a 911S with a carbon roof and a Kevlar back body. They grafted on steel Carrera flares. And all of that work for body work and paint and all of, I don't even know all the names of the terms where they hammer them and laser them and they go over them. It is hours and hours and hours and hours. And this car, this build is still relatively young. It's tens of thousands of dollars to get this thing to be like laser perfect. And again, at a glance, you might not notice. And that's sort of the trick. That's the fool's gold. But to shave $400 off and still maintain all the creature comforts of a regular Carrera
400 pounds
is the magic. Yeah, and it's just absolutely unbelievable. So you have a slick top, but you've got an the ultimate street driving machine that has essentially race car performance, but the livability and drivability of a street car. And it's because you're carrying around so little weight because of all the work that went in behind the scenes to fool you at the eye. So fantastic car. JP, our car is currently sitting at $70,000, and it has 3 days to go until it closes. That comes to us by way of 7 bids. So off to a little bit of a slow start, but we're here in the middle of summer and everybody's usually gone for the weekend. We got a little bid nerds mojo going right now, and this car is going to have a fun close on Wednesday. JP, if this car hammers for anything under $250,000, it was stolen. With that in mind, JP, I just think that's kind of how these things go when they're running no reserve. I believe that the bidders will come out at the last minute, and I will not be surprised if this car goes to 250 or more. But just looking at sort of the slow start that it's off to, and knowing that even though the market's running well, overall market is soft at this summer compared to summers we've had recently. So JP, my bid is $191,100. So it's 191,100 is my bid. $191,100. And of course, it's going to sell because we want to remind everybody it's running no reserve. And if you can get this car for under $200,000, man, you saved yourself $200,000 and 2 years at least. So JP, where are you at on this? Do you think it'll break the 200? I'm just a teeny bit skeptical, but I want it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, geez, this engine is 150 grand, just this powertrain alone. It's really comes down to how closely people are paying attention. We've seen some of the European auctions are really, really off this last week, but we've seen some pretty amazing results here in America on the domestic auctions, call it, right? And the market's hot and the world doesn't seem to be ending this week. So I think we're still kind of in that sweet spot at the moment. I think Americans are out looking for Americans with money are going to be spending it right now because they're kind of like, well, the apocalypse, they might start talking about the end of the world again next weekend. So I may as well have fun this weekend. I think it easily breaks 200. I think this thing, I'm going to go 275 and say that's nowhere near enough for this car. And say that this should be, if Kelly Moss had branded their company the way Singer and Gunther had, this should be at least a $700,000 car. It's not a chance, but at least $500,000. Even that seems like crazy. Yeah, $500,000. 700. I'm being crazy, but I mean the thing is, Singer's being worth $1 million just seems ridiculous to me too, though. So.
JP, I've got a great question before we get to Matt, and then we can pose it to Matt. Which car would you rather have, this or the DP?
Oh, this car all day long. I mean, if I were going to actually drive it around, this thing's way cooler, and I think it's probably realistically worth about the same. The DP asking $700,000, no way. I mean, they're both like really both these cars should be somewhere in that $300,000 range. All right, Matt, what do you think?
I still think it's a $300,000 car, but I think you're right with where the market's a little bit off. I was going to say 265. I'm going to stick with that.
Okay.
265. All right, very good.
No, I feel like the schmuck. I'll never get invited to Kelly Smith's house again. Here we
But
go.
if JP was doing the videos for Kelly Moss, then they would have the brand they need to have.
Just saying.
Yeah.
saying.
All right. We got a few more cars to cover. JP, let's jump right into our 1960 Volkswagen Type 2 11-window bus that is running right now on Cars and Bids. Our car is showing 400 miles, true and miles unknown. It's on a clean California title out of Buena Park, California. JP, it's so interesting. I know so little about these early Type 2s, and there are at least 6 different categories for Type 2s on Classic.com. I was having a hard time lining up what specifically this bus is compared to all the other different versions of it. There are so many derivatives of what they did with this platform. This particular car just looks super, super clean, and let's just face it, it's kind of adorable with like dog bowls and white walls, and it's very unpretentious. It's really nice in this sort of like putty gray and white paint scheme. Super cool car, JP. This one just has benches. It's not really a camper. It almost looks sterilely too brand new with the rear seats still wrapped in plastic. I think you gotta unwrap those for the photos, buddy. I don't know what you were thinking. But yeah, JP, your guess is as good as mine on where we land on a value for a Volkswagen bus that truly has bus seating. It seems like it's lacking a utility to make it valuable like a camper would. Follow me down that road, or you have your own opinion?
I mean, the camper, the Westies don't actually go for more these days. But that said, this, look, the fact is this is a Brazilian bus. So the Brazilians are kind of considered by the Volkswagen purists, the ones that would clutch their pearls. They think of these kind of like the Porsche people think of the fake 356s. They're really not considered the real deal. Even though, I mean, look, the parts don't, because the parts, even though they're technically interchangeable, sometimes they don't fit. But let's face it, old Volkswagens are stamped out of, just crappy metal and beat up die casts and stuff like that. So parts on old Volkswagens don't always fit anyway. They talked to our good friend Matthew Weitzel about parts on old Volkswagens. What do you think of these, Matthew?
I love these. It's not going to get you anywhere fast, but you're going to have fun getting there.
For sure. All right,
Spoken like a 914 apologist.
Yeah. I thought you'd get more into how the crappy Volkswagen parts are, but maybe you can talk about that when it's time for your bid. Deeb, what's your bid on this thing?
All right, so let's see. Our friends at Classic.com tell us that the Type 2s, just the standard microbus, bring $56,000 in the secondary market. This car on Cars and Bids, with still 2 days to go, JP, this car doesn't close till Tuesday, is sitting at already $32,000 on 6 bids. JP, the tea leaves are looking pretty good for this car. It's not going to get to 56. I initially had put 44, but when you give me this whole Brazilian scarlet letter thing, I'm going to take $4,000 off my bid and say that this car gets to, let's go $39,000 and say that it sells. So I don't think, just based on what you said, I don't think it'll crack the 40. Where are you at on this one?
Yeah, if it were a real one, we're definitely looking at 60, 70 or more. I talked to Chef, our good friend Chef William over at Vegas Auto Fest coming up on September 13th, Vegas Auto Fest. If you haven't bought your tickets, you can go ahead and get those now, vegasautofest.com. But no, this car, it's not like it's combining like 5 different eras of bus. But I think at this price point, that doesn't matter. The pearl clutchers are out. And here's the thing about the pearl clutchers. The pearl clutchers don't have much money. Like old Volkswagen, you go to a Volkswagen show and they don't have enough money for gas to get there, right? I mean, it's like they may say that these things are worth $100,000, but nobody can, like if you took everyone from a Volkswagen show, got them together, they couldn't muster up $100,000. I think there are people that have $40,000 laying around for something that's classic and cool and looks amazing like this and has all the eyeball this kind of Volkswagen would be more than welcome. I don't care if it's from Brazil. This showed up to Cars in Cafe or Vegas Auto Fest. We would give it a premium spot. It's a beautiful rig, and it's ready to have fun. I'm gonna say $42,000 and hand it off to Matthew Weitzel, which is going to be tough for Cars and Bids. This thing would definitely be better off on BaT, but Cars and Bids has been stepping up their game, and the assets are halfway decent on this. They're not terrible. What do you think, Matt?
It looks super clean. I'm going to go for the high mark on this thing and say 43,000.
All right,
you guys are punks. Talk me off my $44,000 bid and then take my bid. You punks. God, who needs enemies when I have you as friends? All right, JP, let's jump right in on the 1988 Saab 900 Turbo hatchback with a 5-speed manual. Our car is listed. Oh my God! Give me 1 second. I just lost my thing. Where's the Saab? Where's the Saab? Where's the Saab?
It's a Saab story. My partner doesn't know where his notes are.
Yeah, no, just I literally clicked out of my own listing. So JP, our car is listed out of Bend, Oregon, showing 72,000 miles, but listed as a true mileage unknown car. 2-door, 5-speed, front-wheel drive. 4-cylinder turbo. These things only make about 150 horsepower, but don't let that fool you. These cars are infinitely fun to drive. JP and I both have history in our own ways and our own car histories. We both secretly really love these cars. This platform is super fun to drive. They're sporty cars. They're not sports cars, but they're very sporty, commuter cars. And just a really, just kind of a fun car, quirkily and distinctly a Saab. Great driving position. Love the Cocoa mats and the wooden shift handle. Classic colorway. JP, I dig this car, and yet these haven't turned a corner to be collectible where they've started appreciating, and that sort of breaks my heart because I always thought a car like this might. JP, our car doesn't close for 3 days, so it's got a little bit of time to hopefully get something in the bank for this seller. What do you like about this car? Why'd you pick the listing?
Yeah, I mean, look, these cars, I think we haven't seen them really appreciate. They're a lot like the Alpha Spyders that are great cars, but just have never realized a big number. We've seen some of the SPGs pull some pretty big money, but the one thing we haven't seen is any of these come to listings, come for sale with this few miles on it. I mean, 75,000 miles may as well be 75 miles. When I first saw the listing, I saw the 70. I just, in my head, I was like, okay, it's 275,000 miles. These all have 150, 250, 350,000 miles or more. It's amazing how insane these things last when kept up well. This one doesn't have cracks in the dash. This thing is so insane. We haven't seen one this clean in a long time. I absolutely love this car. If you've never driven one and you get a chance, they're kind of like driving. If Porsche had made a sedan in the era, you would think that's what this is. I mean, the front wheel drive is definitely not Porsche, but you've got that transmission that sits super low. The engine sits at an angle, so the weight is really low and really far to the back. And even though it's front wheel drive, it just feels Porsche-ish. Everything is heavy and the doors click and the way the windshield wraps around the front. It's born from jets, people. Matthew, what do you think of the Saab 900 Turbo?
That was the cool car in high school, man. That thing is dope. People love them unless they have a problem with them, and then it's a sob story, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Or if they're green and then they're Kermit the Saab.
I don't know. I mean, look, people, they were expensive to service back in the day because it was kind of hard to find anyone that worked on Swedish cars. There are a couple of Achilles heels. The transmissions on these are very difficult to wield and get out. I know changing a clutch is a really big job, but overall it's just a 16-valve 4-cylinder that's not that complex. Yes, it's got a turbo, but anyways, what do you think it's going to bring, Deep?
All right, JP, our car is sitting at $7,900 and has 3 days to go until it closes. That comes to us by 17 bids. With 3 days to go, JP, that's a lot of action on this car. So this car is going to, I think, get to a retail number, whatever that is. Saabs typically sell for these 900 turbos typically sell for $14,000 in the secondary market. I think this car is going to do a little bit better than that. JP, my bid is going to be $15,900. See what I did there? Where's you at? Where's you at? Where's you at?
Yeah, I think this is if you've got that classic vibe life, right? You're all about the classic car, and you don't want to drive a stupid like Porsche Macan or something. Or if you're like, you know, I am about that classic life, but I don't want to be one of those lamos that's all like, oh, wagons are the greatest. I gotta get a wagon, but you still need space and room and everything like that. The thing people don't realize is how cavernous the interior of these 900s are. My wife owned one of these for years, and we would just fold those seats down in the back. You could fit so much stuff back there. I'm a short guy. Admittedly, I'm not a tall person, but I can sleep in the back of one of these with the seats folded down. They sit totally flat. It's amazing how good these are in the snow and off-road and all the things. This car is bringing 25,900.
What?
This car is low miles. We've seen SPGs hit those kind of numbers, and this one is super clean. Matthew, what do you think?
I don't know if it'll go quite that high, but I think it will sell to a local there in Bend because that's snow country. It's the perfect car for up there. I'm going to say 19,000.
19,000. It's so funny. We opened up the show with our bidders are platforms high, and then JP bids $25,000 on a used Saab with a TMU odometer and claims that because of the low miles, it's going to go to 25 grand. Absolutely.
TMU. I mean, look, it's in the Northwest.
Zero.
Yeah, it's got no miles. I believe the miles, though. I mean, given the way, the condition of this car, I mean, geez,
it looks nice.
It does look really nice. All right,
if you wanted one, this is the one you should be buying right here. This car is the nicest one we've seen.
I think this price point is where the market is hot. You start getting those $200,000, $300,000 cars. People don't have that kind of money, but people have $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 laying around for something fun. They're itching to do something with it. They just made some money on Bitcoin. What's the next car? What do we got?
All right, JP. 1975 Porsche 914 is for sale on Bring a Trailer by our friends at 911R out of their Scottsdale, Arizona location. JP, do not be fooled. Matt Weitzel, I don't know if you know this car, but recently our buddy next door to us, JP, sold his 911 SC that had an LS3 swap. While that car was live, I went to the Easy Show in Emeryville, and a friend of mine who is a avid driving instructor for all of the track days up and down the West Coast, he's got a Cayman, and he's out there all the time. He met the widow of the owner of this car, and he was told that she had been trying to sell the car for quite some time and had no luck with it. He has driven this car on track and then brought it to my attention. But by the time I got to her, she had already got to 911R, so I did not get to represent this car for her. But here we have this incredible off-white, as I understand it, my notes, $325,000 worth of modifications over a 10-year period between 2013 and 2023. Those are metal fender flares, and then gusset tubes were added, and the body seams were stitch welded for increased rigidity. This car makes serious horsepower, but it has a incredible performance envelope with the suspension and the Fuchs wheels and all that stuff. So, we have seen people put V8s and LSs into 914s before. That is not new or uncommon. But I don't know that as many people have gone to the same lengths that this person has here to make this incredible car. Unfortunately, he has passed, and this car is on sale on behalf of the widow. So as I understand it, this car is unbelievable, and that it's so powerful, it's very easy to swap ends if you don't know what you're doing. But for those that are inclined and you're looking for something that's like a serious closed course car, this might be your car because it's got a full roll cage. JP, I don't think you'd want to drive this car on the street. I think this really is like kind of a track toy and someplace where you got long straightaways because this thing makes a ton of power. So, JP, there's a lot to the notes here. There's a lot going on. They're not going to come anywhere near the investment. The question is, does a car like this even break six figures? Where are you at on it, JP? What do you think?
Nobody wants to hear what I have to say about it. We have Matthew from 914 Rubber. What's the deal with this car, dude?
Patrick Motorsports builds incredible cars. The fact that this is a collab between Patrick Motorsports and Renegade for the V8 on this thing, this is as good as they can possibly get. It's a race car. It is not a street car. This is something you want to wear a helmet in, and it will. Right. You better wear your brown pants.
Yeah.
But it is a beautiful build.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's that roll cage that's really going to limit the potential buyers for something like this. Deeb had a 914-6 for a while there, and it had a roll cage, and that was really kind of the thing that held it back. What's it going to bring, Deeb? What do you think?
Yeah, JP, that's kind of where I'm at on this car. So John, here's the deal. Our car is currently sitting at $36,918. It's got 2 days to go until it closes. That $36,000 comes by just 6 bids. I think this car, despite its incredible performance and incredible value, as for all the reasons Matt said, it still casts a very small net. It's a very small window of market that we're trying to extract a buyer from. And with that being said, JP, I know that this widow has been trying to hold out for $100,000. I think she's been offered $80,000 on several occasions and turned it down. I don't see this car really bringing much more than that, despite the incredible provenance and the reputation of the seller, which this has nothing to do with. It's for the reasons that Matt said. This is a track-only car. You're not going to put this car on the street. It's literally, in my opinion, almost too much horsepower for the street. And if you're going to put it on the street, you got to get half that roll cage out. So then it's a project car, and then you got to do door cards, and you got to put heater boxes and all this. It's just like you got to almost start over to a degree, you know. So 80 grand is my bid, JP, and I don't think it sells at my number.
Where's it at right now?
It's at $36,918.
Yeah, I'll give it 75,914. Pass it off to Matthew. What do you think?
Guys, if you just bought this car, even at $80,000, and swap the motor on it, you have an almost $200,000 build.
Yeah,
and the car is ridiculous. You know that I'm building my LS version.
Hold on. Time out. If you buy this car and swap the motor, I don't understand what you're saying.
You got a V8 motor in it, right? That's what's scaring people off of this thing.
Yeah.
If that's what the issue is, and you want a Porsche motor back in that thing, and it's a Porsche motor with that build, I spent 2 weekends ago driving a Patrick Motorsports built car. They are insane. They shift unbelievably. They handle unbelievably.
I don't think the engine has anything to do with what's holding this back. I think that's the plus. I think this car, honestly, what Deeb said is the problem. It's got a freaking roll cage in it. If it didn't have a roll cage, you know, we were just watching that driving video. Matthew, you'll be the first to admit, like 914 sucked to shift, right? And we're watching that driving video, and every shift was like click, click, click. That's like, oh my God, that's the way I want it. And having just come off of an LS3 build 911 that shifts like that, it's like, it's gold. It's wonderful to have it in this type of shape. I think if you bought this car and pulled that roll bar and just made it a half cage in the back or something like that, then you might be able to get some money for it. But I don't know how much that would cost. I don't think the engine is at all a problem at all. I think the engine is definitely a positive here. All that said, do you still think someone should swap the engine on this and buy it?
I think you should enjoy it exactly the way it is. It's
done.
Perfect the way they built it. You know, wear a helmet or pull it out and put some door cards and stuff like that and make it a little bit more streetable. But either way, that doesn't take much to take that stuff out.
What's your number, Matt?
I'm going to say that it's 80,000 and it fails to sell.
Give me a different number, because I gave 80 grand. So give me over or under 80 grand. Yeah, over or under your number.
I'm going to push this thing, so I'm going to say over. I'm going to do a story on
so
this
I'm
car.
going to do 81,000 for Matt Weitzel, and that's not a bad bid. And again, the real buyers might be just sitting in the wings. This car could go for 150, and I wouldn't be surprised because of all the work that's been done to it, especially if there's really $325,000 worth of receipts.
Jim Patrick was involved with this. Was he involved? I know Patrick Motorsports was involved with this, but I don't know if Jim himself does. What does that mean? Does anybody know an answer to that? Mike V has been asking this a bunch in the comments. Whatever. Maybe right. We'll have to answer that on the next side.
One more quick car because we got to sign off, JP. Can we jump one more in?
Sure, let's do it.
Our buddy Chris Carbine is currently selling a 2016 Porsche Boxster Spyder with just 18,200 miles out of New Orleans, and it's on Cars and Bids right now on a clean Louisiana title out of New Orleans. Is this beautiful Boxster, JP? Don't hate this car because it's got sofas and steels. I think this is a fantastic street car all the same. Probably still one of the best values in the sort of modern Porsche market. A real slick shifting 6-speed manual transmission, super comfortable sport adaptive sports seats. And I don't mind that this car has steel brakes. I think these things work just great and save you a bunch if you wind up driving the snot out of this car. The only real crime here is that this car has only been driven 20,000 miles. What a fantastic car, JP. What do you think?
Yeah, I love these. I'm fine with the sofas. This is the kind of car that you could drive. This is a do-everything car. It's the right size. 911s, 991s of the era, or 992s, whatever. They're too damn big. They're just too big a car. This is the right size for a Porsche. You've got room for bags and road trip stuff on the front and the back. I love this thing. Matthew, what do you think? Is this a new 914?
It is the new 914. 11 for all the same reasons.
All right, what's it going to bring?
Excellent. All right, JP, our car is currently sitting at $88,888, and it closes in 2 days. Essentially, it closes on Wednesday. JP, Chris Carbine has already told me verbally this car is selling, so take it for what that's worth at face value. Our friends at Classic.com tell us that the average selling price for a Boxster Spyder is $92,000. Even though this car doesn't have bucket seats and carbon discs, I still think this car's got another 10 grand to go over the next 3 days. My bid, $98,000. JP, where you at?
I'm going to say it gets to 100 because these things are hard to find, and I think there are people that want the sofas. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah.
I'm going to go 102 and give them all the love. I hope it gets over there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the
it's got
jerk
3
again.
pedals.
It's great doing a show with you guys.
All right, there it is. We are at the end. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out for another Bid Nerds. We will be back. I don't know. When are we back? We're back on Wednesday. So we will see you then. And make sure you get your Vegas Auto Fest tickets at vegasautofest.com. If you want to sell a car and you need the Bid Nerds help to get the most money for it, you want a happy ending, call the Bid Nerds or reach out to us at bidnerds.biz. Matthew Weitzel, what do you want to plug at the end of the show?
914 rubber. Come get your parts.
You got a 914. You buy that 914 with the LS3 swap, and you want to pull that. You want to get the correct seats and pull that roll bar out.
Get the interior.
Give our friend,
and put all your rubber
get all
seals
the
back
stuff
on it.
you'll need in there. There it is. All right, we'll see you guys Wednesday.